Sure, America does not default, emphasize does not default on its debt for the first time in our history. I'm pleased but not surprised to hear Republican Minority Leader of the United States Senate saying that at our meeting that the United States is not going to default, never has, and it never will. He's absolutely correct. We agree to continue our discussions, and we're going to meet again on Friday. In the meantime, our staffs, we're going to meet today and daily between now and then, and everyone in the meeting understood the risk of default. Our economy would fall into a significant recession. It would devastate retirement accounts, increase borrowing costs. According to Moody's, nearly 8 million Americans would lose their jobs, and our international reputation would be damaged in the extreme. The last part is me, international. Moody's did not say the last part about damage in the extreme. I made clear during our meeting that default is not an option. Repeated that time and again. America is not a deadbeat nation. We pay our bills, and avoiding default is a basic duty of the United States Congress. In fact, they did it 3 times under my predecessor without not one time creating a crisis, rattling the markets, or undermining the unshakable trust the world has in America's commitment to paying its bills. And I'll remind you, the national debt went up 40% over the 200 years. It went up 40% under my predecessor. And that's the problem we're dealing with today. I might note parenthetically, in my first 2 years, I reduced the debt by $1.7 trillion. No president's ever done that. I told congressional leaders that I'm prepared to begin a separate discussion about my budget and the spending priorities, but not under the threat of default. As I said, I've already cut the deficit by $1.7 trillion in my first 2 years in office. And the budget just submitted to Congress cuts another $3 trillion in the debt over the next 10 years, my budget that I submitted. I made it clear that we can cut spending and cut the deficit. For example, my budget cuts $200 billion in spending by strengthening Medicare's power to negotiate for lower prescription drug prices.
Good evening, friends. This is it. Congress has less than 30 days to take action to avert an economic crisis that will affect millions of Americans. Just recently, a settlement has been reached between taxpayers and online tax filing services. Many Americans are finding out that they are eligible to receive bonus checks that are worth hundreds of dollars. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video for all of the details. Also, this coming Friday, I will be announcing more winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My dearest friends, the more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Top congressional leaders left a high-stakes meeting with President Biden, showing few signs that they have moved closer to resolving a debt ceiling impasse and removing the looming threat of a default. The officials plan to meet again very soon, as Washington scrambles to lift the debt ceiling with less than a month before the federal government is set to run out of money. Speaking after the meeting, President Biden told reporters the leaders' staffs agreed to continue meeting beginning Tuesday night and daily through Friday. Every leader present, except for Kevin McCarthy, agreed to remove the threat of default when asked by Biden. Senator Chuck Schumer called on Kevin McCarthy to negotiate proposed spending cuts through the usual budgetary process without threatening a default. Senator Chuck Schumer stated, "There are large differences between the parties. If you look at what President Biden had proposed, and you look at what Speaker McCarthy has proposed, they are very, very different." Mitch McConnell joined McCarthy outside the White House, where he reiterated that Congress would not allow the country to default on its debts. Hakeem Jeffries, speaking to reporters after the meeting, framed House Republicans as the only group that would not rule out the prospect of a first ever default on U.S. debt. Lifting the debt ceiling is necessary for the U.S. government to cover spending commitments that are already approved by Congress. Doing so does not authorize new spending, but House Republicans have said they will not lift the limit if Biden and lawmakers do not agree to future spending cuts. The Biden administration has said the GOP has a constitutional responsibility to raise the borrowing limit. President Biden has been considering using the 14th Amendment to unilaterally raise a debt ceiling without the help of Congress. However, he implied that the process of litigation may take too long to make a difference. The U.S. president was also asked about other concepts, such as minting a $1 trillion coin. He responded, "I don't think anybody has studied the minting of the coin issue." While the 14th Amendment is a theoretical workaround, experts have said the president unilaterally issuing debt without a ceiling increase would prompt a constitutional crisis and create severe uncertainty leading to an economic and financial crisis regardless. Previous administrations have deemed such a move as unworkable. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo also tamped down the feasibility of using the 14th Amendment when asked about it, saying it is the only way to guarantee that the U.S. can pay its bills is to raise a debt ceiling. But if the U.S. were to default, gross domestic product would drop 4% and 6 million workers would lose their jobs. So even a brief default would lead to the loss of 2 million jobs. Congressional Republicans are united in their refusal to vote to raise a limit without concessions. Dubbed the Limit, Save, and Grow Act, the bill would impose sweeping cuts to federal discretionary spending, impose new work requirements for welfare recipients, and expand mining and fossil fuel production, all in exchange for raising the debt limit for about 1 year. The White House has pointed to some of the bill's most conservative proposals and cuts as evidence that Republicans are willing to let the nation default in order to slash spending from key programs. Roughly 4.4 million Americans will soon receive checks from TurboTax, following a 50-state settlement with parent company Intuit for allegedly steering millions of low-income Americans away from free tax filing services. So friends, you may qualify for the settlement if you use TurboTax for federal returns for tax years 2016, 2017, or 2018. But we're eligible for the free version of the software through the IRS Free File. Customers will receive an email about the settlement, and checks will automatically be mailed throughout this month. Many customers will receive about $30, with some customers that use TurboTax for 3 consecutive years receiving up to $85. The checks will start being sent out next week, and according to CNBC News, there is no action required by those who are affected. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this Tuesday. My dearest friends, thank you for being here and for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners this coming Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances, my friends, of winning these weekly giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.